All right, folks, I want to convene the Hopkinton Town Council meeting of December 1st, 2014 to order with a moment of silent meditation and salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First item on our agenda tonight is the consent agenda. Approve the town council meeting minutes of November 17th, 2014, executive session minutes of November 3rd, 2014.
And I did not bring them up to you for your review, so if you take them off and continue them to the next meeting.
So I make a motion to approve the town council meeting minutes of November 17th, 2014.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay.
Public forum with Agnes.
First public forum. Anyone out there wishing to be heard? No. Okay. Next on our agenda, town manager report. Bill McGarry.
Thank you. November 17th, after a thorough recruitment and selection process, the town offered the position of Deputy Finance Clerk to Elizabeth Monty of Westerly. She was interviewed for the position along with 8 other candidates. Finance Director Brian Russell and I conducted the interviews, and we both felt that she was the best fit for the slot. She begins a week from today, December 8th, and she's going to work alongside Agnes for several days during a training and orientation session. She's a URI grad, has extensive experience in accounting and financial computer software programs, and she'll be on board December 8th. November 18th, I attended the 6th meeting with Tax Assessor Christine Brochu and Rita Dean regarding camper trailer tangible taxes. These periodic meetings allow us to kind of better coordinate the efforts of the tax assessor and tax collector offices and review our attempts to collect the tangible taxes from those persons who have not paid to date. It's basically, at this stage, it's a two-pronged strategy. It seems to be working very well. Rita follows up with the campground owners to obtain the correct and updated addresses of campers who haven't paid their bills, resends the tax bills, delinquent notices, and other correspondence to updated addresses. And Christine Brucho and Judy Royd work with the campground owners to update their camper owner lists, and they personally go out and have inspected all four of the 5 campgrounds in town to date. They're going to do the same thing in the spring. This is kind of a long-term project. It's like a strategic, multi-year project that's going to require annual monitoring by both the assessors and the tax collector's office. And to date, since we've started maybe about 6 months or so, we've produced additional revenue of approximately $20,000 with expenses around $2,000. So it's been financially rewarding for the town to the tune of about $18,000 to date.
Excellent.
Okay, any
Thank you.
questions for Bill, folks?
Well, I have to comment that it sounds like our employees are becoming private eyes. That's wonderful that they did that under your direction. That's good.
Well, thank you. Basically, it's above and beyond their job description, and it's just a little extra effort by Christine Brochu and Rita Dean to collect some back taxes through their own hard works.
Bill, are they going to have to go out there every year to all the campgrounds? And
They really should, because they have to inspect those trailers to see which ones are there, which ones are not there, and to make sure that, you know, they are what they say they are, because on those tax assessor bills,
Sure.
they have descriptions of them, and sometimes they've purchased newer ones 2 and 3 times over, so.
Yeah.
It may not require an annual inspection,
Yeah.
but I think it would require periodic inspections.
Sure. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Field trips.
Yeah. Yep. Next, folks, under old business is the discussion regarding the proposed ordinance amendments to Chapter 3 Amusements. I believe the intent of our discussion tonight will be to talk about some of the fees that are charged for amusement or permits for special events. and make them more uniform relative to the number of events that happen. And I'll turn it over to Councilor Husband. This was his item on the agenda. And David, you have the floor.
Thank you. Most important, I think, about this ordinance, I think people have to understand, this ordinance is to protect the town. We want to make sure that we know, if the town wants to know, what goes on in the town as far as large events go. I don't have any problem with most of these events, probably almost all of them. But this ordinance is not in place to raise money. We're not trying to gouge businesses in this town if they want to hold some kind of an event and they have to apply for this permit. Primarily, this all stems, this change of this ordinance, these alterations in this ordinance stem from the fact that we have people that hold one special event a year and we charge them $100. We have other people who may hold more than one event, and we had an instance where that occurred this past spring, and they requested, I believe, 10 events, and we charged them $100. And at that point, I thought it just wasn't fair for one person to get charged $100 for one event and another person to get charged $100 for multiple events. So there's been a change in that, and I've requested a change in that regard. We've also made some other minor changes regarding police coverage of certain events. As I said at one point, I said if you have an event with 200 nuns, I don't think we're going to have police presence there. But if we have an event with 200 people that are looking to drink beer and roast a pig, that we might have to have some police presence there. So there's been several changes in this ordinance. I think it's to the good, and I'd like the council to go along with it.
David, maybe if you could restate the change, the monetary change that you want to make.
Monetary change would be this. If you have one event, if you're asking for one event, a special event, in a year, we charge you $100. Anything from 2 to 5 events, we charge $200. If there's more than 5 events, we'd like you to come back in again and give us a listing of, the events have to be listed. That's another thing too. The events will have to be listed, and the dates and what kind of an event it's going to be on the application for this license. So if you want more than 5 events, you'll have to come back in and see us again. And if it's going to be more than one event, we'd probably charge you another $200.
Can I just give you a little
Sure.
bit of what I worked into this from the last discussion we had, because I think you're going to want to change it, so let's just make sure.
Yeah.
But the biggest changes were the definition of a multi-event license is added to the statute so that you can, or the ordinance, so that you can have a single event or you can have a multi-event license. And the multi-event license is for up to 5 events during a single calendar year from January 1 to December 31. And then for multi-event licenses, we've got a listing of what needs to be provided in terms of the information for each of those. Those are really the main issues. Everything else is just kind of cosmetic issues. You know, Barbara wanted intoxicating, deleted from liquors, that kind of stuff. What I do want you to understand, though, and this is where I think you're going to want it to be changed, David, is there's an initial filing fee of $100 for everybody, and the reason for that is because there's advertising.
Yes.
And I asked Lisa how closely that $100 matches up with the cost to her office, and she said almost exact. So the reason why there's an initial fee of $100 is specifically to cover advertising costs. The way this ordinance was structured before, I kept the basic structure, but you may want to change it, is that if the application is then granted, if the license is given for it,
Right.
a separate $100 was collected.
That's correct.
Or in a multi-event situation, I've got $200 being collected. So if you got the license you were requesting, if it was a single event, you would pay a total of $200 altogether. If it was a multi-event, you would be paying a total of $300 altogether. So if that's something you really should discuss, whether you want that 2-tier system. But the advertising costs, you really need to collect. We can't absorb that. So the $100 up front you kind of need. I guess the question for you to think about and voice your opinion on is whether or not you want to have that second hit when the license is granted. If somebody applied for the license and it was denied, they would never pay that additional amount. They would just be out the $100 for the advertising. So it's really, that's really how the fee part of it is structured, and the question is, do you want to do that? So that's the big issue for you guys, I think.
Yeah, the only question to Pat's point, and Lisa, maybe you can help us with that, is I'm not so sure that second tier was collected upon. Okay.
It wasn't, but that's the way the ordinance
I
was
know,
written,
right.
which is kind of funny.
Right, so-
Yeah.
And that's been changed.
It wasn't acted upon, so.
No,
No,
it's
I
just-
there you
left
go.
I left the structure the way it was, Dave, because I wasn't sure what you guys wanted. You can remove that, though. I mean, this isn't carved in stone, that's why we're talking about it. So it's a question of what you know, what you want to do. Whether you want to have no second fee, whether you just want to cover your advertising costs and have no money, or whether you want some money coming in. So that's the main issue, I think, for you guys.
Okay.
Can you tell us where that is in the
Yes.
ordinance?
It's on the third page, right at the top. It's
Number 1.
section 3-7, license fee expiration renewal, 1 and 2. And if
Right.
anybody needs copies, I brought copies with me.
I want to make sure everybody's got the correct copy. It should say August 20th. That's the most recent on the
August
front.
20th, and
Yes.
it's at the top of the page,
Yeah.
Pat?
3.3-7, section 3-7,
Number 1?
1 and 2.
One and two,
Yeah, 1,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, amusement parks, it's been 300.
So we're covered under 3-3, item 6, with a filing fee of $100 to cover the cost of advertising.
Exactly, yep.
That's fine.
Yep.
And as far as I'm concerned, that's fine too, that we have a licensing fee shall be for an outdoor recreational, entertainment, cultural event or festival shall be $100 for a single event and $200 for a multi-event license.
And you notice I specified here that that fee accrues at the time that the license is issued. You know, so that it's clear that the initial 100 is for the advertising.
Right.
And this is once the license issues.
So maybe not a lot has to change, only if we just enforce the second tier. Because we don't seem like we've collected it.
I think
Well, I've got
the
some questions for you whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a problem with the second tier, because if we have a nonprofit, we generally waive them regardless. I think the issue would be anyone who is not a nonprofit. I have a number of things too on page 3. I have some
All right, go ahead,
typos.
Barbara.
In 3,
Page 3?
yes, page 3, 3.7, number 1. I think we should not, the second line, the "and" is redundant. For an
Yes, yes,
outdoor,
I noticed that.
all right, good, so the "and" is gone. Then in 3.8,
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a question on number 3.
I took intoxicating out, it's just not showing on yours.
Yeah, no, I said, does this say, does the permit, that the operator of such entertainment site has sold or has permitted to be sold intoxicating needs to go out, liquor, wine, beer, or narcotic without a town liquor license permit? I mean, do they get to do that if they have a liquor license permit?
Well, if they.
No, they'd have to ask for that.
They'd still have to
Well,
ask for it?
if it's at a bar, they already obtain
Right,
it.
they've already got a liquor license.
They already have a
you
liquor
couldn't revoke
license
it,
then.
basically.
Okay, so the operator of such entertainment site can't be revoked if they've sold or permitted to be sold any liquor, wine, beer, or narcotic.
Well, I think there's certain cases where we're going to have to waive that. Because,
Well, that's fine.
yeah, which
That's
is
at our
fine.
discretion.
Well, if you've got a licensee who has a liquor license, you would never be in a position where you were trying to revoke their entertainment license because they're serving liquor.
Right.
Okay, and so the narcotic is fine. And then number 6,
Same section?
yeah, and you've used it before, so on that, where you've crossed out such, it should be either that a or the entertainment site, or that a entertainment site. I think you've used a before.
Okay.
Anything else, Barbara?
No,
Okay, so good.
On the first page, you've defined, under number 2, you defined a multi-event. Okay? And it reads that means a license issued under the, a multi-event is a license issued under this chapter, and the applicant to an applicant other than amusement park or vehicle track for up to 5 events.
Yeah.
If the event is more than 5, that's not an issue, right?
They'd have to,
The way it
Dave,
reads.
actually Dave covered that when he was talking a minute ago. If it's more than 5, they'd have to come back for another license for the other 5.
Right.
Is that what you want?
Well,
Think about it. For
well,
instance,
not necessarily, but, I don't.
we just had somebody, Pavilion, for instance,
Pavilion.
they're gonna do something every weekend or something for the summer. So obviously, that's more than 5 events.
Right.
So they're gonna come in here once and they're gonna say, we need an entertainment license and we wanna do it every weekend from June to September. So that adds up to, I don't know, 18 times or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So does that mean they have to come back 3 or 4 times? No.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think
just
like that.
asking.
I don't like that idea either, but at the same time, do we?
At the same time.
So can't they just come in, if they want a multi-event one, they tell us that it's multi-event,
But isn't-
and they pay
Hold on.
X amount, and then they have a multi-event. Now, determine what the X amount is, but they can do it as many times as if we approve it, and they can do it every weekend all summer long,
Right.
they pay a certain amount, and it's a multi-event.
Right.
Whether it's
Exactly.
5,
What
10,
is the
50,
amount?
20,
Right,
whatever.
right.
Not 900,
No.
isn't it just
No.
300? They come in
Right.
once.
Right.
But are you going to ask them to tell you what each of those events is?
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
would say the dates would have to be on there.
Oh,
They'd
yeah.
have
Yeah,
to
'cause
list-
that's
so
what-
they'd still have
Yeah.
a list for each of
The
the
pavilion
events.
lists them in the beginning,
And
and they know
every
what they got
weekend,
going.
we're gonna have somebody come in with a folk guitar, and they're gonna sit out in the field, and we're gonna have
exactly.
100 people come.
Every weekend, a second event is the car show is going to be every
Right.
weekend.
Right.
A third event is the
So,
something
my question
else.
is, the way
Those are
this
different events.
reads,
Yeah.
my question is, I just want to say, I would prefer to have them pay one fee for a multi-event license. And then if they're gonna say every weekend for the year, I mean, that's up to us to decide, but a multi-event should be multi-event.
Right.
So is
And
there
they
any
should
limitation
come
you want?
once. No, it's up to the council.
I-
That's
yeah.
what I think. So I need to know how you feel about that, and then I got a whole bunch of other things.
I'm not in love with 5. I mean, I could go with,
I think up to 5 makes sense, as long as we understand that 5 events are a car show, which is every weekend is one event, a folk artist is another event that might be 8 times. You know, these are events that they are redundant events.
Couldn't it say more than 5 times? Because a single event is not just one. If I
Says
read
up
this
to
right,
5.
a single event is up to 5, correct? Or up to 4? That's what I wanted to get
A
clear on.
single event is a single event.
single event.
One time.
Right, one
Now,
time.
we have a lot of people who come in here and ask for a weekend, and it's one event, but it's 2 days. Is that 2 events?
No, it's
No,
one
that's
event.
That's
One
one
event.
event.
One event.
Okay, so one event is a weekend,
Yeah,
or it could be the week.
I mean, assuming it's the
It's like
same.
the
It's,
fair.
it's,
event.
It's like the fair.
it's one event,
Yeah.
and it's a time frame, whatever that is, and it's one event.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what all right, I was
No.
worried about that, because sometimes they come in and they say, we're gonna do this on Saturday, we're gonna do
Yeah.
this on Sunday. That's
In-
fine,
in-
it's one event.
In
Okay.
defense of the pavilion also, I believe that list contained, I don't know, 4 or 5 wedding receptions under the tent. I don't think wedding receptions at a restaurant is a special event. I think it's a normal
Business
course of
event.
business.
So,
Well, when it's outside and it's music playing, that may have an impact.
And
on
you're
the
living
neighborhood.
next door to it.
Well,
You
that's
might
true.
not feel that way.
Or if it's held in somebody's backyard.
okay, so we need to resolve, what the fee is gonna be for multi-event.
Well, let's, if you can, establish what's gonna be multi-event
Right.
first. Is it unlimited? Is that the?
Yeah, it
that's
should be
the sense of
unlimited.
what I'm
It
getting?
shouldn't be a number, it
So it
should
could be
a
as many as you
multi-event.
want.
Yeah, and then they
Okay.
come to us and they tell us
Right.
what it is.
Because if there's, I'm sure if there's ever an issue at the multi-event.
We'll hear about it.
We're gonna hear about it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then we can revoke that license is revocable, right? So if the,
Right, you're right.
so we still have access to pull that license to stop it.
Or if they hold an event that's not listed on the initial application. Going to pull the
So I mean, you
license.
still have that right, so I mean, multi should be just
2 or more. 2 or more?
2 or more.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah, they're actually, yeah, you wouldn't say 5, because if you can only do a single, then if you go to 2, then it's multi.
That's right.
Oh, okay, all right.
Sorry.
All right, so that
Yes, sir.
one's solved.
So multi-event's gonna be 2 or more.
2 or more.
2 or more.
Yep.
It's, keep it clean,
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Keep it clean.
yeah, keep it, I mean, clean, don't make it so wordy that we have to, you
And
know,
I don't
really-
want people to come back.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. If I was reading this application, I'm on page 3, and I'm looking at 3.1. And I'll just ask you, maybe I'm being too literal. When I read it, and it says that the license,
What's the name?
it's 3, It's on page 3, and it's right at the top. It's one,
Oh, okay.
number 1.
Okay.
It's right at the top of page 3.
Yeah.
The license fee shall be
Got
for an outdoor recreational entertainment cultural event, blah, 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 shall be $100 for a single event.
Yep.
And $200 for a multi-event.
Now, if I wanted to do this, and I looked at this and I said, okay, I gotta pay $100, now I'd ask Lisa to explain it to me, and I'd say, I wanna pay $100 for a single event. But I'm doing different things over the weekend, so nobody, you'd be able to clearly say to them that, no, you're okay, don't worry, you're doing all these different things, but it's a single event, because it's just 2 days and it's the weekend.
Such as with Taro.
Somebody wants the
Lily,
rec department.
They span it over Thursday night, Friday,
Or
Saturday.
the Boy
That's a
Scouts
single-
down here at Crandall Field.
Yeah, radio operators, they
That's
needed 2
one-
days.
Right,
Right.
that's
One
what-
event.
One
To
event.
me,
One event.
it's one event.
Okay, then we're okay,
Yep.
all right. The last thing I wanted to ask you, I think it's the last thing. Number 2, the license fee for an amusement park or vehicle track or similar business shall be $300. The license fee,
I made that up.
that's okay, because we had that before. We did
But I
have an
think that's-
amusement
I
park,
made up the
and
amount.
they ran every single day. Well, I don't know if they closed in the winter, but they ran daily. Now, I wanted to ask you, the word daily is used elsewhere. If an amusement park runs, if an amusement park or vehicle track or whatever runs daily, but they close in the winter, and what is daily? Is daily 5 days or 7 days?
I would say 7
What
days.
are you talking about, Sylvia?
I'm talking about,
Number 2.
well, it's number 2, but I got this,
There's no daily.
there's a daily somewhere. What I wanted to ask you is, there isn't any daily anywhere.
Right.
And I wanted to ask you specifically about number 2, in order to change it and perhaps say that a license fee for an amusement park or vehicle track, isn't it more in line that any entertainment activity, it might be something other than obviously an amusement park or a track. We don't know what it'll be. You know how we try to do the district use table and we try to think of everything, and then somebody comes in? Oh, this sentence right here, you're trying to think of everything by saying, or similar business. Okay, and that's okay, but do we want to add in that it's a daily thing, that it's daily?
No, why would you?
Oh, I'm just
Oh, in
asking.
the evening? Okay.
Exactly,
Okay, all right.
yeah. And I'm very happy with the $300 anyway, because then we get to check
Oh,
it
yeah, I
out
think that's
every
The
just
one place we
one,
have is defunct.
one time,
I think that's
$300.
The one amusement park we have is defunct.
Right, but it might, never know, it might come back. It was a nice thing for small
It
children.
was nice.
Okay, that's
kids
basically
like
the
The per
per
day
day.
you saw may have been.
I only have one thing, David, bless you, is on page 2, section 3-6, issuance of license conditions. Number 6, it says appropriate police presence as determined by the town council. I think that should be left up to the chief of police. Because dealing with that stuff with the fair, we as a council do not know what crowd control, I mean, you
True.
brought it up as
Could
far
say
as,
as recommended
But-
by.
but-
I would say that,
But we
yeah.
always let them
By the-
recommend.
Consultation with the, I
Yeah,
mean, you're gonna ask
but
him
we're
anyway.
always gonna
Yeah,
ask him.
yeah, but I mean,
I mean, we're gonna ask him
Why
what his
don't we just have
advice
it
is.
determined by the police chief?
No, because I think it should go through the town
well,
council.
no,
But-
because,
Well, and
the way,
recommendation.
let me
Yeah.
do the way we do it at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Elwood Johnson determines how many police officers are needed at that
Mm-hmm.
event, period. There is no compromise, it's,
Right.
we need this many people, we're figuring, estimating this much here, and he just does that. I mean, we're not, as counselors, working with crowd control and things like that. I figured we'd leave that thing up to
The
the
chief.
professionals. I
As
mean, that's what they,
recommended,
that's, yeah.
As
So, I mean,
recommended.
as a recommended.
By the chief.
Yeah.
If you leave it in the hands of the council, though, people looking for this license only have one place they have to go for it, and that's here. You would obviously consult the chief.
Right.
I don't think it's such a hardship. to go see the police chief.
However you want to do it, it seems to me that you
Yeah.
want to keep
I think you want to keep it, I think,
decision-making with you.
Yeah.
I would keep it
Well, you
with
could
the
even
town
add in
council.
consultation with the chief if you feel strongly
Well, but
about
we
it.
all would
But
do
it is
that.
determined by the council, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it is something we would always be in consultation with the police chief. We wouldn't make that without. But we also, you know, if we know what a particular event is, I mean, we have this police chief, we might have another police chief. And, you know, does Swamp Yankee Days or does, you know, the fishing, you know, Huckfin Fishing Day need a policeman? Probably not.
Gotta watch out for those 5-year-olds.
Exactly. But I mean, I think we know our town, we know what goes in, but if there's something like a larger event or like a carnival that comes in, we would always ask the advice of the police chief.
I'm going to tell you, I don't feel comfortable determining whether we should have police presence or not police presence without talking to the chief. Or whether the chief is sitting right there while we discuss the license, or we have to call him, or he has to get in touch with. Somehow, I want
With
the police
just put it,
department
what if you
involved.
did with
But I'm sure we would
consultation
do
or
that.
something? Lisa's got it.
Yes, Lisa.
I usually do a memo
Yeah,
to the chief with a copy of. the
Right.
but that's you,
application to the
yeah,
chief.
yeah. Yeah, but
But
I think
that
something in
satisfies
the
her.
ordinance.
Right, and if he had any objection, I'm sure he
Well,
would have.
I don't see any problem with just adding in some comment. It's determined by the council, but it's
In
in
conjunction.
conjunction with the police.
We'll
Yeah.
say a consultation with the chief of police. How's
Yeah.
that?
Something like that, just so it's.
Good, good.
That's fine. I agree. I think
Okay.
Lisa's ways works fine.
Yep, it does.
Yep, okay,
Tommy, you all set.
That was the only thing I had,
Okay.
I mean, everything else.
that's good.
That was a good job, you
I
guys.
just had one
Yeah.
quick
Thank you.
comment. Page 2, let's see, number 4. You know, the applicant operate the outdoor recreational
Site.
site, what does it say? Site
Site.
only within times and dates set by the council. I mean, as I read that, I'm wondering if, you know, it's always based on the application that's before. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that we have to get involved in setting dates and times for these
Well, you
folks.
could say that, you could make it as simple as represented in the application.
Correct.
Yeah,
You know,
that's-
that's what I'm
grant
thinking.
You know, move to grant the license with the dates and times as set forth in the application.
Right, that's my point.
As presented to the town council, yeah.
So if everybody's okay
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so just to recap, I think we want to try and keep this as simple as possible. Are we all in agreement
With
for the
those
initial
changes?
100
Yep,
to cover the advertising
that
costs?
covers
it,
yeah.
And then for, and one event is a single event, a multi-event is 2 or more,
yep.
and then the fee for the multi-event is 200 on top of the 100? Okay, but we have to enforce that, though. We can't just, you know,
And for the
Oh,
single
no.
Oh, of
event,
course.
Oh, it's
loosey-goosey, because it hasn't been enforced, what?
No, it hasn't.
Well, we didn't have it. We never had it before. That's right.
Was it in the
That's why it wasn't
application?
enforced.
No, it was in the application, so, yeah, we just never collected
single
it.
event.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Not even those.
Never mind.
But it'll be for a single event, 100 on top for advertising, 100 for the event.
Correct.
So 200, and then the multi is 300.
That's correct.
Okay.
So what you just said though, so the single event individual, the folks, I mean, we have a lot of nonprofits and we always waive everything,
Yeah.
but that would give us an opportunity to waive the second fee and keep the first because there's an advertising.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand. That
Now,
makes sense.
Lisa, is this going to involve changing the application?
I think it should.
Yeah, because they're
Can
gonna
we-
need.
Can you pass that to us once you make the changes in it? You take a look
All right,
at it.
so we've got some ideas going forward. This
Yes,
is for
as soon as
discussion
this is-
purposes only tonight.
All right.
I'll put it on a future agenda, we'll vote on it and get it going.
Great.
Make it happen.
Good.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
this-
we're ready if
Yeah, I'll
Pat
give you a new-
whips it
I'll
up
give you a new draft of the
with the,
policies
and then we can.
Take a look
and
at the
when you're
new-
ready,
the
everybody
application.
can look at it individually, and if you're okay with it, tell Pat you're okay, and, or tell Frank, and he'll put it on the agenda.
2 weeks?
I'm
To
sure
be,
that will happen.
and we'll move to be advertised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
true.
to be advertised,
Yeah.
right. But I don't think we need another discussion at the next draft. I think we're done.
You could easily
What do you
put it
think,
on your
Frank?
next
No?
agenda.
Right.
Easy peasy. Okay.
All right,
Very good, thank you.
thank you, Pat. Okay, next, under new business, is the announcement of a new business opening, Marnie and Michael McNamara Back in Time Takeout Restaurant. I see the McNamara's in the back row there. if you want to come up to the podium, just give us a quick heads up on everything. I've been in the shop, and it's very nice, and Marnie, give us the sales pitch.
Careful.
Around all day. People, hi. I'm just so proud to be a part of this community and everybody here that I know well. And I just can't tell you, it's been a great day today. It was the best day that we had since we opened a week ago.
Why? Why is today?
It was just wonderful. I had a dream last night that it would be like it, and it was just like it was in my dream,
so
that
sales were
everybody
really good
came
today.
and finally said, okay, let's try it, and everyone liked it, and they'll be back again.
It's wonderful. Welcome to town.
Marnie, tell us briefly what you do, what your hours of operation are, and in our packets, we actually had the takeout menu, so we're aware of
Oh, excellent.
what the prices are. But
Yes,
so
yes.
just give us a little deal on what it's not eat-in, I guess, typically.
Nope, it's takeout,
Okay.
and you can call in or come in, and we just serve everyone individually to their needs.
Am I going to have to read this menu, or are you going to tell us what these
No.
goodies are? Am I going to read this thing?
You
Want
have
me
to
read
come
it?
in and see.
Oh, no, I have to put out a few things. For instance, roast beef topped with sauteed peppers, onions, and melted cheese. Now, these are sandwiches. Zesty, barbecued, spice and crust pork loin topped with our mustard and apple slaw. Lemon herb marinated roast chicken fillet topped
I'm not going to
with...
say the whole menu. right?
Okay, yeah, please.
Oh my God, you're making me hungry, and I've been there all day.
And I can't believe how many things you have on this menu for
I
that little
know.
place.
I know.
Roasted Moroccan spiced beef with pineapples, peppers, and onions. Are you listening to this?
I'm mixing all the cuisines
And
of the
then,
world.
you know, so then there's a pasta and herb pesto.
Yeah.
And then there's soups like ginger chicken soup and
Which are
creamy tomato and butternut and fall fruity medley with spicy croutons and let's see, scrumptious sides like potatoes.
Oh.
All sorts of lovely potatoes. Hey, the other night I stopped in for my first time and you'd almost want to just stay there and just look around and look at everything.
It's pretty.
Because it's so unbelievably cool. It's like a little museum
I know.
of the forest.
It's a museum of the
You
forest.
have a forest.
It's
in
like,
there.
it envelops
It's-
everything
yes.
we're about here in
It is
Hopkinton.
very, very, and.
The
and-
land and the people and the history and the
what you
culture.
said when you first got up there, about being part of the community. So you really are part of it. now.
I know. It's always
You don't
what I
just live
wanted
here,
to
you're
do.
feeding us.
So your hours?
Yep, 11 to 7. But we might be open, like, things are getting busier, so I'm gonna be open up a little earlier, and I might offer breakfast. Like at 9 and 10, and some
Well, you look
breakfast
tired,
items.
you might want to be careful.
Oh, I know, but it's just, it's okay. I'm old, okay?
7 days a week?
Pardon me?
7 days a week?
No, I think we're gonna close on Sunday.
You're going to give yourself a day off?
That's a very good thing to do.
Close
Now,
on Sunday.
I didn't talk about prices, and I won't, but I will say, can you get a meal anywhere, a very, unbelievably good, the way you play with your spices and
Oh,
herbs and
thank
everything.
you.
And then the product, I had some green beans, and I asked her what it was, and of course, it's green beans with a bunch of cool stuff in there that she sauteed up. So there isn't any particular name, it's just got good stuff in there, but the greens were so green.
I know it.
It's like, what have you got, a magic garden?
Well, I cook everything to the healthiest possible way, which means a quick steam saute, and it's hard, it's not really, or flash roasted, which means everything is all the vitamins and nutrients
We're gonna
are
get a full
available.
supper for $7-8, you know?
Oh, I know it.
Unbelievable.
And unbelievable.
Hopkinton City?
Yeah, Hopkinton City's got a restaurant.
And all our neighbors stopped in today. It was wonderful. And anyway, so it's going to be good. It's hard work, but it's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
And Marty, I guess, I didn't know, I talked to you before the place opened. I always thought that your experience was with planting, gardening. I had no idea.
It is
So when I chatted with her,
Did you go in the place
as
yet?
well.
Oh, okay.
when I chatted with her before it was open, I thought her expertise was in like gardening.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, it is.
Well, no, yeah, but you were a chef, your mother,
She's
it
got
runs in your
several
family.
expertise.
No, it runs in our
You know,
family.
I was very impressed with your experience in food preparation. I never knew
Yes.
that you had that.
Oh, I
And so it
know.
all kinda
Most
made
people
sense.
don't know, because I don't talk
Right.
about it. I've been in the
Right.
gardening business for 12
Right.
years.
Right, so I said, geez, you know, this woman's a gardener, now she's gonna open a restaurant. I didn't
Yep.
give it a week, to be
Well,
honest with you.
I'll tell
know,
you.
Knowing, now that I know that you had that experience, I just said, gee, this is something else, and how clean it is, I
No, it's
just,
very
It's
professional.
clean and beautiful,
It is very
and we love being there. I can just tell you that the space there is so enjoyable to be in, and then the people that come in that we get to interact with, and each person is an individual that gets to pick whatever they want and do it this way or that way, whether to take, it's very individual, and people actually getting actively involved. And I try to educate them about the nutrients and other things, and so it's very wide scope.
You've done a wonderful job.
Thank
make sure you
you.
get a menu over to the police department.
I think we did. They've been to us, and we're waiting for them to get over their Thanksgiving lull. They'll be back. We love them to come. I just,
We always used to see police cars there when Helen Mills was there.
Yeah.
They were always there. Every lunch, they were always there.
well, we do need
Everybody was
to
there.
address the issue of the speeders. We all know there's speeders that kind of go through there crazily, but they do a good job.
Are you gonna have picnic tables out there and?
Yes, in the summer, you
summertime?
bet.
That'll be nice.
That'd be great. Yep. that'd be
And
great.
one thing I'm listening to you talking about the events, well, everybody in the whole neighborhood and all the people that I've worked with in the farmers markets that I've been attending for the last 10 years here in Rhode Island, is that they want to do a thing here. We want to have a farmers market, and it seems to be Wednesday, looks like the day, because all the other, the big growers that do the farmers markets in South County and not want to come up here. And then we also have people up here that would love to get involved. And I know there's a lot of regulation and codes and everything that everybody has to go through. They got to have insurance and blah, blah, blah. But that's one thing I would hope to put forth to you, is that that's what the people want, this little thing to happen here, the farmers market, in the summer, once a week, during the week.
We'll put it on the radar and we'll try and.
So I just want to see what you come up with, if that's possible,
Would you use
from
the
number
back property
one.
for the parking?
There's 3 acres, and I have
Oh, so you
all
got
the
plenty of time.
parking.
Good.
There's tons of parking that could be addressed. If there's any issue about where, I'd write up a plan. We could talk to everyone concerned to see. But I think it'd be just a constant flow of people. I don't ever think it'd be this big, giant
Yeah.
conglomeration of chaos
We'll
happening.
figure it out, Maureen.
It'd be
But,
both.
Yeah.
But we're all excited about that prospect.
Okay,
And, you know, especially the neighbors.
yep. Well, I'll keep
And
that on the
everybody.
radar, like I said.
So,
And,
yeah,
We wish you the best of luck.
it's great. It feels good there.
Yep.
All that work was, I think, worth it.
Worth it. Hey,
Hey,
thank you.
thank you
Thank you,
all.
Marnie.
Really, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, next, under new business, is the discuss, consider, and vote upon whether to purchase generic vote today signs for use during September elections, November elections, and special elections. This was asked to be put on by Councilor Capalbo, and I'll hand the table over to Barbara, the floor to Barbara.
What we ended up doing this last year, trying to make sure we get as many people as possible to vote, since we are a municipality, and that is how people determine what we do. So we decided to get the vote today at town hall signs for the municipal budget and the school budget. But then I realized when we went to vote in November and September, because we have the primaries as well as the main one, the main municipal election, and then we also sometimes have special elections, where we often do not have them in the town hall, but we do have them at the different polling places. It's to allow people to remember that today is to vote. Because often people forget that part. They may know it's a vote, but they forget that they have to do it that day. And I think that would be another way just to be helpful, to try to get people out in order to do voting. And to buy several signs and put the Vote Today signs out in the different areas where, at Hope Valley School, at St. Joe's, and at Ashaway, or on Crandall Field, but something so that we can let people know that they need to vote today. So that we have both kinds. We have both vote at Town Hall, but vote today, and it will be there. And it doesn't have to say anything more than vote today.
Don't we have signs?
No, we only have them for the Town Hall.
When we did that before, we specifically said we wanted to just do the school and the town budgets.
Right.
We wanted to wait and see. And it works great. I think it's helpful, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Generic.
So Lisa, can you explain, you got a couple prices here. It says election source 104 and then in tab 90. These are for the metal frame?
Yeah, not for the real heavy ones.
Oh, okay.
But that they are metal frame, but they're very sturdy.
Okay.
We bought a couple of them for the election for the St. Joseph Church location, but because they are now off the rack, they have to be special
Okay.
order, they will cost you a little bit more. Some of the lighter weight, you could buy plastic frames, but then you gotta buy a weight.
No, I think what you,
No, we
no.
need something strong. Right.
So how many do you think we need based on the location?
I have no money left in my budget.
No, it should come from council contingency.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I would
So-
agree with that. But
How many,
so-
let me ask you this, how many signs do we have?
We've got six of the heavy-duty vote here signs. We've got two of the sale signs.
We've already got vote here.
We've got two of the lighter weight signs for St. Joseph Church, and then we have six of the Vote Today at Town Hall signs that are for the budget referendum in Hopkinton and Maryanne, so that's 16.
So how many generics do you have already, though? Yeah, you've already got some generic
They
signs.
say vote here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
that
that's-
works.
No, it
That
doesn't.
works in any election,
No.
Depending on where you
No,
put it.
No,
No.
right.
depending on where you put it. Oh, I see your point. You can't say vote here, right,
signs,
right.
We are required by law and by Board of Elections
Right.
to put certain ones in certain places, 2 or 3 at each location, at Hope Valley Elementary School, Ashway Elementary School, St. Joseph Church.
So you're looking for a vote at the school, or vote at
Vote
Ashway School?
Or
Vote today.
Or just vote today?
Vote today.
Yeah,
So
just
it's
vote
at
today.
Randall Field,
Vote today.
Vote
yeah,
today.
Dowfield.
I think it's a good idea
Oh, yeah.
to inform people. The downside is if you put it in front of the school, or if you put it in front of Crandall House, they're gonna go there to vote.
But if you put it at Crandall Field, or if you put it at Dowfield, it's a reminder just to let people know that, today is the day to vote.
My only issue.
What would
is
you recommend, Lisa?
When you vote.
You haven't figured it out?
Or at the libraries.
People will show up.
Did they-
and
At
vote
that
today
location.
at that
But wait a
location.
minute, though, we've already had signs up that says vote today, and we had them at the Crandall House, and it said vote
They
today.
say vote today at Town Hall.
Right.
Oh.
That's the
oh.
difference.
Can we put them up along the highways?
Highways.
Down-
What if it just says,
down by the
remember to
bridge,
vote?
Actually, on Route 3, coming out of
You
Wesley.
can do it at 216 Crandall Field, certainly the
No,
vote today. You
I-
can do them at the
I don't know.
libraries.
Let's,
And
yeah,
we
I think
also-
we're getting,
We can't just put up signs all the time, so this means that we have to involve the DPW.
Sure.
Right.
But I don't think 4 to 6 signs is a difficulty
No,
for
I just want to
DPW.
make sure that you're aware that it's not just me that's going to be putting signs up.
No, I'm aware it's DPW.
but I do have to say that what Lisa's commenting on, I didn't think of that. If you do put something out, vote today, people might be under the misconception that
That's
wherever the sign
That's the
is.
only, you have to think of everything on all sides of it.
Right.
I don't want to impact the schools, if there's
Right.
no vote today in front of the schools and wherever you put them. I don't want to impact Crandall House.
What if it just says voting is today?
You have to tell me what you want.
I don't know.
I would,
No, is there something wrong with putting them on the entrances, the main entrances to town? 91, 3,
No?
216 at the
You have to put
border?
them on your
I
property.
mean, don't,
right.
It's probably state.
state property, there'd be a problem.
Yeah, it's too,
Yeah,
yeah.
but we have the town hall, we have Crandall, we have Langworthy Field, but that's too far back. But we have the Hope Valley Elementary School.
way back to,
Yeah, but that's way back, but if you put vote today on routes.
intersection of
Right.
Belmont and Main.
Exactly, right there, is that you can do a vote today, and it's in several locations. You can also do them at the libraries, because, libraries should be able to encourage it. But I would say even if you did 4 of them, you had one on 216, one on 3 at Crandall.
216 State though, Bob.
No, Crandall Field is
Oh.
right at 216. So you have one coming from one direction, you have one on Crandall Field from the other direction, and it's close to where Ashway School is. You can do one in front of Hope Valley School at the intersection that Lisa's talking about, and that's 3 of them, because that's also where St. Joseph's is, as well as Hope Valley School.
Doesn't that cause a problem that I think Sylvia was talking about, though, that people think that that's where the voting is?
But the vote today, if you put them on Crandall, you already have Ashaway School. People know where to go for Ashaway School. So if it's a Hopkinton citizen and it says vote today, they will know where they vote. It does not say vote at Town Hall. It says vote today. So I know my voting space is Ashaway. You will know your voting space is Hope Valley or St. Joe's. So it's letting people, reminding people that they should vote today. It's not just a generic day, it's a day of voting. Because we did it for the municipal.
I would not put them on St. Joseph's. I mean, we.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree.
won't let that.
I agree with that.
For September, November, and I know we negative, there's an impact there. I do want to.
Well, no, I don't think that we need to, but just putting it up the Thelma Drive, where Hope Valley is, and doing the 2
Well, that's not
on
gonna
Crandall
help.
and
You wouldn't want
216.
it on Thelma Drive. You mean up by the school?
Well, no, down by the Route 3,
Well, okay, Route 3's fine. yeah.
on,
Tom.
on Route 3.
See, if this was gonna be a one-time purchase, I got 2 questions. One, where do we get the signs from? Did we check any sign people in town? I'd rather promote internal,
Yeah, well, these are specific metal things.
well, you can buy, they can get them too. I mean, if Lisa can get the price
If you can get
and
'em
give
cheaper.
that and say, look, this is what I can get them for, we'd rather buy them in town, can you match this price?
Sure.
Okay, that would probably save in shipping or something like that. The other thing I'm thinking about is, can we get them with sliders? Where you just, if we're voting at Ashaway, you slide in Ashaway School down the bottom? You know how for like car washes or something, or events?
You can buy signs with sliders in.
'Cause
And then you could
have
just,
to have those sliders printed up, and there's an additional charge for that.
Right.
I'm just saying, then they're generic and they can be used anywhere, and you could put them in Crandallsfield, like you're saying, and say, vote at Ashaway School. Vote at Hope Valley School, and put them in Dowfield.
But
So-
everybody who goes by Ashaway School.
Right.
If they live coming from Westerly and they live in Hope Valley, they're gonna go to Ashaway School.
And so, I mean,
There's
that's-
always a,
Right, but I mean, it's
And
why-
it's confusing enough
Right.
as it is.
And I think just vote today is plenty. It just reminds people that this is, because when you're driving and it's a voting day, and there's nothing out there to remind people to vote. I mean, I know during one of the past elections, I had someone come to me and said, I forgot to vote. I mean, I know I needed to vote and I forgot.
But
And I
yeah.
think just putting vote today out just reminds people that, because they're busy with their families, they're busy with children, and I think that it can be as generic as that. And I think it's a good idea to go for someone in town. See
But
if we
I
can do
think
that.
the key is not having it near a building, so folks don't get
Mm-hmm.
as confused. Like in a field, obviously, people know it's not going to be voting in the field at Crandall. So I think that would probably be key. But and then we just decide how many we want to get. You thinking 3, Barbara?
Yeah, just 3 or 4,
3 or 4.
yeah.
Is that 3 or is that 4?
I think 3.
Three
Three.
times, and you want one
Vote today.
in Hope Valley,
Mhm.
Bell Drive, Main Street area,
Mm-hmm.
another one up here.
Crandall Field,
Crandall Field.
Oh, where's the third?
place.
216, the other side of Crandall Field, coming from the other direction, because that's still, we own both of
Yeah.
those sides.
Yeah.
And then we'll check locally for prices.
I will. And you want it to say vote today?
Vote
Just
today.
vote
Not
today.
Remember to vote today.
No, just vote today.
Okay.
Okay. You want to, do we need a motion for that?
Move that we authorize that, and it's paid for through council contingency.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion, folks?
Yeah.
Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. last public forum. Anyone out there wishing to be heard?
I mean, it's been a while, but do we go over the bills at all? No. You
No,
don't
we
do
don't
that
do
anymore?
that
Okay.
anymore. So if
Awesome.
something comes up, you call
Yep.
Agnes.
Yep.
Or Bill. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, that's right, you would call Bill.
I would call
Sorry,
Bill.
old habit. Hey,
Yeah, no
Bill,
bills.
what's this bill?
So, no one out there wishing to be heard on the second public forum. Okay. Former Councilor Scott Bill Hurst had asked us to adjourn, and I handed it over to Tom.
Yeah, I'd like to adjourn this council meeting in memory of Patricia Ann Kinney, who passed away the 25th of November. She lived in Diamond Hill in Ashaway.
Okay. You have a second, please?
A second.
Okay, motion made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Tom.